to Jonathan Taylor. Huge hole. He's at the 30. He's going to go. 10, 5, touchdown. Jonathan Taylor made a man miss the line of scrimmage and then runs it into pay dirt in a one-handed INT. Are you kidding me? Kenny Moore.
What a play by Nyheim Hines.
Horseshoe is back, baby. The horseshoe is back.
What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Bring the Juice Colts podcast. Cody Felger here, as always. Joining me, very special guest from 107.5 The Fan, my friend, Mr. Kevin Bowen. Kevin, how's it going, man? How's it been week number 2 for you for Colts practice and training camp?
Yeah, what's up, Cody? It's been good. Yeah, today was a hot one. We're recording this on Saturday, and it was definitely one of the hotter days so far of camp, but really the weather's been terrific. I love that they haven't had to go inside. You know, when they go inside, the fans can't watch. So the fact that they've been outside for all 9 practices is great. And the weekend practices always get a little bit of a bigger crowd. So fun to be back up at Grant Park.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kevin, I'm sure there was a lot of things that you took here from day number 9 of practice. Let's start with the Colts offense and Jacob Eason, right? Jacob Eason's had some on and off days in terms of 11 on 11s. What have you noticed from him overall, and especially today here, day number 9 here on a practice on a Saturday?
Yeah, I thought he ended on a really high note. He was 7 of 8 in the final 11 on 11 session. That was a 2-minute drill, and it honestly was probably one of his finer sessions of camp. Delivered a couple balls to Pittman. Gerard Green got a lot of run. They pulled him down 4 tight ends today. So some other guys got into that rotation there with the starters. But, yeah, I thought it was a pretty good day for him. I mean, you know, you still definitely want to see, I think, a little bit more vertically kind of show off that arm. He did connect on a beautiful ball kind of in the corner of the end zone that showed some touch to Jordan Thomas. I think called that in one time. And as Frank Reich said after practice, you know, the big thing with Jacob is, again, outside the numbers, you aren't worried about him. This is a great thrower of the football. It's when you get in between the numbers, you get into more of that traffic or that clutter. How do you sift through it? How do you make progressions? And how do you find, you know, guys to certainly keep the chains moving? So I think that's, you know, where they've seen some growth, but they need to continue to see growth.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I think I've tried to be, you know, telling our listeners and other people like that is like, with Jacob Eason, you don't expect perfection. Far from it, because essentially, Kevin, he's a rookie, right? I mean, he's seen, 30 snaps before training camp, so very much limited, and also even in college a little bit, you know, not really a whole lot of run there, as opposed to even a Sam Ehlinger, who got a lot of starting experience at Texas. But have you seen some positive – what are the positives that you've seen from Jacob Eason from, say, day 1 when he was the starter all the way now to day number 9?
Yeah, I would just say today, I thought his command in the 2-minute was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't perfect by any means, but I thought I saw some strides there. You know, if you're grading him kind of on a 1 to 100 scale, 100 being his progressions are incredible, 1 they're being horrific. You know, I think he's made strides. You know, maybe early on it was whatever in the 20s, 30s, and now it's closer to 40s or 50s, something like that. So. I'd say another thing that he's done really well is he's protected the football really well. And I don't think, yes, it's been a good amount of checkdowns, but I can't tell you the last interception that he threw. So I think that is something that you need to note as well. As you said, Cody, this is not going to be perfect by any means. It's really his first real work in the NFL. But I feel like there have been some strides. And, I asked Frank after practice because I felt like it was, a question that needed to be asked. Is Sam Ehlinger creeping up on any starting reps? And Frank certainly used the phrase "right now" many times in that answer, but he pretty much said no. That Jacob's in the driver's seat. They're going to give him these starting reps, and in my mind, I think that'll continue through at least that Carolina preseason game. And if Jacob looks good, you obviously continue to roll with him. If he doesn't, that's when maybe you start to give Sam a little bit of a look just to see if. All right, is that second team stuff fluky, or is this something that you continue with the first team?
Yeah, I guess the question always has been, and I've asked this a lot, is like, how much do you grade Jacob Eason? Obviously, he's going to be your starter, so you have to grade him a little bit higher. or you presume he's going to be your starter if Carson Wentz obviously can't make it the first couple weeks. But like, how much do you have to factor in, Jacob Eason really having little to no reps before this, and also playing against a really good defense without pretty much his entire left side of his offensive line?
Oh, huge. Context matters in all this. I feel like when I tweet out stats in practice and my colleagues tweet out, stats, they're just like, oh my gosh, you guys are trying to build up Ellinger and this and that. And it's like, no, you're simply reporting what you're seeing. And obviously there is tons of context that come with that. And like you said, the lack of personnel. I mean, today, I would say Eason was down probably 4 or 5 starters. T.Y. Hilton and Jack Doyle were both out for rest days as well. So again, the fact that you have, personnel issues, lack of a spring work, Ellinger it has a much higher floor. So I think when you factor in all that stuff, I should have acknowledged this more coming into camp, but I don't think it's as shocking as how we've seen these two quarterbacks unfold so far.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah, you mentioned a little bit of the injuries, so I guess we can touch on those a little bit. You mentioned Jack Doyle, obviously going to be out, was out today, a rest day. You mentioned T.Y. Hilton as well. A couple guys of note that I just wanted to touch on real fast. Obviously, Julian Blackmon had that injury yesterday. He was out today, which is funny because he tweeted out, LOL, I'll be out there tomorrow, and he wasn't out there tomorrow. So seems like it's pretty precautionary from all measures. And, there was just a couple other guys as well. I know DeForest Buckner was dealing with a foot that kind of flared up a little bit. Are you concerned at all with any of these injuries that the Colts had today?
Yeah, I mean, Buckner, obviously, just because he's so important. But Frank, pretty much cautioned that, this is something that they don't think is an issue. I think he kind of flared up on it during the individual period, and then he sat out the team portion. But obviously, when you hear a foot, it's something to pay attention to, especially when it's a player of the magnitude of Buckner. So, Kylan Granson was also out, a precautionary knee thing. We still haven't seen Darius Leonard ask Frank about him after practice, and it's basically saying that they just, wanting to, go kind of that nth degree to make sure Darius is good before they bring him back. He's not wearing anything on that ankle. He's done some, jogging in front of us, things like that. So, yeah, I'm not too worried on the injury front, outside of obviously Carson and Quentin Nelson in their absence.
Mm-hmm. That's good to know. Were there any other guys, Kevin, that really stuck out today to you, whether offense or defense, that really maybe even this whole camp have really stuck out to you?
Yeah, I thought it was a good day for TJ Carey. He actually lined up at safety when Julian Blackmon was out next to Kari Willis. So I thought it was a pretty good day for Carey. He's kind of versatile, trustworthy guy that oftentimes we probably forget about. Sam Tevy continues to take the left tackle starting reps. I'm not saying that, because he looks good or bad or indifferent. It's just surprising me. They continue to roll with him there, and it hasn't been more of an open competition at that left tackle spot. I thought Pittman had a pretty good day. Paris Campbell probably had his most 11-on-11 work of camp in terms of targets. He held onto a ball and took a pretty big hit, I thought, from who was it? Was it Odom that stuck him? I think it was somebody else. Actually, it might have been Carey, and held on to it for a touchdown. A couple other big hits from Odom, Zaire Franklin as well. So, it was kind of a mixed bag. There was some good play, certainly, from the defense today. I really loved the one-on-one period. Michael Pittman and Xavier Rhodes had a couple of really, really competitive reps. Mike Strawn beat Kenny Moore for a catch there. So, yeah.
I'm curious because we haven't talked about this enough, I don't feel like. How is that competition heating up at that Sam linebacker position?
Yeah, with Leonard's injury, it's kind of been it's been tough to really gauge it. EJ Speed is getting all the reps at Leonard's spot at that will linebacker. And I really think it just comes down to flavor of the month. If you want a run kind of thumper, a guy that's going to be physical, Zaire Franklin is your guy. And I think, when you're playing a team like Tennessee or somebody like that, Franklin is going to be that guy. If you're looking for a guy that is more lateral, more coverage guy, I think that's where EJ Speed comes into play. So that's how I kind of see those that spot playing out.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Well, Kevin, obviously the Colts have practice tomorrow, then they have Monday off, and then Carolina comes to town next week. What are you looking for tomorrow in practice and then in these coming weeks for the Colts and some of these guys in training camp?
Well, I think once you get into the Carolina week, Jacob Eason's evaluation just becomes a little stricter, and you want to see how he does against a team with a different colored jersey and things like that. Obviously, a week from tomorrow in that first preseason game as well. Some of the competition battles that are playing out, that third corner, like we talked about, the left tackle in place of Eric Fisher, those things. You want to see some of the injured guys and they get back to work as well. And I'm just excited that, once you get to day 10, day 11, Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday's practice, we're probably going to have a bit of a kind of a slogging, I don't even know if that's a word, but just kind of a slow feel to it. And then Carolina will come in on Thursday, and that should really ramp up in terms of the tempo and competition. So I'm just really, really looking forward to that.
It's going to be a fun week, man. I cannot believe that preseason's back. I mean, I realized the other day that there was a Thursday night football game. I mean, come on, man. It's crazy. Can't believe it's back. It's about time, man.
I know. I love it. I had all my buddies text me about the Steelers Cowboys game the other night and everything. So, a week from Sunday, and for those that are in the national market, I'm pretty sure that game's on NFL Network as well. So, Colts fans can catch that all across the country.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Well, thank you, Kevin. Really appreciate it, man. And hopefully I'll see you out there on camp. I'm planning on going Wednesday, so I'd love to catch you again, see you there. And, have a safe travels, man. I know you're headed to see some family, so have safe travels there and back. And we'll see you soon.
I appreciate that, Cody.
See ya.